Every person alive today is part of an unbroken chain, a chain stretching back millions of years. Your parents, your grandparents, ancient kings, Stone Age hunters, and before them, creatures that weren't fully human, but weren't apes anymore either. Somewhere in the distant past, one species crossed an invisible line and became the first true humans. But here's the strange part. Scientists still debate who that first human actually was, because evolution doesn't work like a movie. There was never a moment where one ape suddenly gave birth to a modern human. Instead, humanity emerged slowly over millions of years through survival, mutation, and extinction. And most of our ancestors didn't survive long enough to tell the story. Entire human species vanished from Earth forever. Some were stronger than us, some had bigger brains, some survived brutal Ice Age winters. Yet somehow, we became the last humans standing. So who were the first humans? Why did they stand up and walk? How did they survive a world filled with predators? And what happened to the other humans that once shared this planet with us? Tonight, we're traveling back 7 million years to uncover the real story of human evolution. Around 7 million years ago, Earth began cooling. As the climate changed, huge African rainforests started shrinking. In their place appeared vast grasslands and open savannas. For the ancient apes living there, this was a disaster. Trees had been their shelter, their highways, and their protection from predators. To survive, some apes began doing something revolutionary. They stood up, walking on two legs, called bipedalism, changed everything. Standing upright helped them see predators over tall grass, travel long distances, and free their hands to carry food and tools. Scientists believe this was the critical split between our ancestors and the ancestors of modern chimpanzees. One of the earliest possible human relatives was Sahelanthropus chidensis, discovered in Chad and dating back about 7 million years. It still had an ape-sized brain, but its skull suggests it may have walked upright. Then came creatures like Ardipithecus, which could both climb trees and walk on the ground. Evolution wasn't creating humans overnight. It was experimenting. By 4 million years ago, a new group dominated Eastern Africa, Australopithecus. These were small-brained, ape-like hominins, but they walked upright far more efficiently than earlier ancestors. The most famous fossil among them is Lucy, discovered in Ethiopia in 1974. Lucy belonged to the species Australopithecus afarensis. She stood only about 3.5 feet tall, yet her skeleton revealed something incredible. She walked almost like a modern human. But life was terrifying. Australopithecines were not hunters at the top of the food chain. They were prey. Giant crocodiles, saber-toothed cats, hyenas, and eagles hunted them constantly. And this pressure forced evolution into overdrive. Over time, their teeth became smaller. Their hands became more precise. And most importantly, their brains slowly began growing. Then around 3.3 million years ago, something world-changing happened. Early humans began making the first known stone tools. Sharp rocks allowed them to cut meat, break bones for marrow, and survive in ways no ape ever could. Intelligence had become a survival weapon. Around 2.8 million years ago, the first members of our own genus appeared, Homo. The name literally means human. One of the earliest species was Homo habilis, often called the handyman. Compared to earlier ancestors, Homo habilis had a dramatically larger brain, nearly 50% bigger. That extra intelligence allowed them to create more advanced stone tools known as the Oldowan toolkit. These tools changed survival forever. Instead of merely scavenging leftovers, early humans could now butcher animals more efficiently and access high-calorie meat and fat. And that diet may have fueled even more brain growth. But the true evolutionary superstar arrived around 2 million years ago, Homo erectus. This species transformed humanity. For the first time, humans had long legs, shorter arms, and a body shape almost identical to ours. They could walk enormous distances under the hot African sun while predators overheated. And Homo erectus became the first human species to leave Africa. They spread into Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. But their greatest achievement may have been even more important than migration. They mastered fire. Fire changed human evolution forever. Cooking food broke down tough meat and plants, making calories easier to absorb. According to scientists, cooked food gave humans massive amounts of extra energy, and the human brain is incredibly expensive. Although it makes up only about 2% of body weight, it consumes around 20% of the body's energy. Fire may have helped pay that energy cost. It also provided warmth, protection from predators, and light after sunset. For the first time, humans could gather together at night, communicate, and possibly develop more complex language and social bonds. Some anthropologists even believe storytelling around campfires helped shape human culture itself. Humanity was no longer simply adapting to nature. We were beginning to control it. Here's something most people never learn in school. Modern humans were not the only humans. For hundreds of thousands of years, Earth was populated by multiple human species at the same time. Around 600,000 years ago, a species called Homo heidelbergensis appeared. Different populations adapted to different environments. In Europe, they evolved into the powerful Neanderthals. Neanderthals were shorter, muscular, and perfectly built for surviving Ice Age winters. They buried their dead, created tools, wore clothing, and may even have made art. In Asia, another mysterious group evolved, the Denisovans. We know very little about them because scientists have found only a few bones and teeth in Siberian caves. Yet their DNA revealed they were a completely distinct human species. Meanwhile, in Africa, a new species emerged around 300,000 years ago, Homo sapiens. That is us. For a long time, scientists believed Homo sapiens simply replaced every other human species. But modern genetics revealed something astonishing. We didn't just replace them, we mixed with them. Around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa and encountered Neanderthals and Denisovans, and they had children together. That means many people alive today still carry ancient human DNA. If your ancestry is outside sub-Saharan Africa, you likely carry between 1% and 2% Neanderthal DNA. Some populations in Asia and Oceania also carry Denisovan DNA, from ape-like ancestors struggling to survive to a species capable of reshaping an entire planet. That is the story of human evolution, and the journey is still continuing, because evolution never truly stops. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more videos about ancient humans, dinosaurs, lost civilizations, or the complete history of Earth, subscribe now and join the journey. What part of human evolution shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, every human alive today carries the story of millions of years inside them.